very interested to see what they can do this season. So, but yeah, going lastly to the Atlanta Falcons. Um, you know, I think we expected this team to have more of a fire sale going into this offseason. And only really Julio Jones is left. So in terms of the losses, it's really just him and Alex Mack, and safety Ricardo Allen as well. They also lost him and Keanu Neal to your Cowboys, which we'll talk about another day. But also lost, head coach Raheem Morris. They decided to go with Arthur Smith, offensive coordinator from the Titans. So we'll see how if he can, bring out a few more years of Matt Ryan. Because I think a lot of people expected quarterback maybe early. They didn't do that. They're sticking with Matt Ryan as their quarterback. But in terms of additions, with that fourth overall pick, they got Kyle Pitts. I think everyone agrees, pretty much slam dunk. Obviously, we'll see. Got to see it to believe it, or see how it works out. Mike Davis from their division rivals, Carolina Panthers, who had some solid games with Carolina, and then also added safety Deron Harmon. I added that because they lost a bunch of other safeties. But a team that I don't know about you. I know 13 second, but I don't expect them to be in the playoffs. But this could be a team that's just one of those really annoying 5-12, 4 and almost at 11, 4-13 teams where they have like 4 or 5 close games that they all, it's can be one of those stats where it's like, oh, the Falcons are 0-5 in, one possession games this year. I think they'll be close to have some talent, like I mentioned, Calvin Ridley still. I think Arthur Smith will incorporate some good ideas in the offense, but regardless, like we mentioned last year, this Falcons team just too top heavy on both sides. And I think, like they can go with the Julio and Alex Mack contract. And obviously Keanu Neal now really is just Deion Jones and Grady Jarrett there. And they've had issues staying healthy. So, what were your thoughts on the Falcons offseason? Do you think personally they should have just went all out fire sale? 'Cause I think I did. That's what I would have done. But, what were your thoughts on the Falcons offseason?
Well, objectively speaking, if we take need out of the equation, why
Cody's in the chat. I'm seeing Tua in the chat.
Okay.
We're not even talking Miami, and he's already here.
I thought my audio was doing something funny.
No,
anyway,
sorry.
You're good. You're good. Objectively speaking, if we take need out of the equation, I liked their draft. I really liked. Kyle Pitts. The guy's a beast. I really liked Richie Grant, their second round pick. I can't remember who else they had in the draft. But they had a few other guys. Maybe it's a third or fourth rounder. One of those guys I liked as well. That being said, and we said it before the draft. We said it before the draft. When you have a top 5 pick in a quarterback class that deep, it feels hard to me to not take your swing at a QB, because what are the odds you have a pick like that again? Now, maybe the Falcons expect to be bad this year, but once again, what are the odds you're gonna have another top 5 pick? Because it's honestly hard. It's hard to be that bad in the NFL consistently, because you tend to get some rookies to make some impact plays, some free agents who want to win, make a coaching change. That guy obviously doesn't want to lose, so it's hard to be bad consistently. And so I think when you have a guy like a Justin Fields or Mac Jones, either option, I think you couldn't go wrong taking them at 4. You trade off Matt Ryan. We saw what Matthew Stafford went for. I don't think he goes for that price, but I think you're going to get some high draft compensation return. You get rid of everybody who's old. You already did it with Julio, and I think they should reset. That being said, that's not what they did. So at least as of right now, I think their offense they have talent, they have weapons. Like Matt Ryan, obviously, Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley, but I still expect them to be last in this division. Maybe that works out in their favor, and they're able to find their long-term quarterback after this year. But it felt weird. It didn't feel like they made win now decisions in this offseason, but it also didn't feel like they made decisions to try and move towards the future. It felt like they kind of just stayed stagnant.
And maybe too, they just feel like, because we still don't know what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson, for example, and maybe they're waiting to see if for Denver, they're hoping that the Drew Lock experiment fails, and then maybe around trade deadline time. Maybe that's when they'll make the calls. Say, hey, Matt Ryan's available. We're stinking right now. You want Matt Ryan? Maybe so you at least get some time. You can give him this last half of the season to get some confidence, or hey, Deshaun Watson, he got in trouble. He's out for some time. You're gonna have to let go of him anyway. You need a bridge quarterback. Here's Matt Ryan's not a bad one. So, and also not just Matt Ryan, maybe Grady. I'm not sure if Grady Jarrett, Deion Jones, they could be on the table at that time too, because I think we also have to factor in that new head coach Arthur. He's going to want to try to win and implement his style as soon as possible and just have success. No one wants to start off the Hugh Jackson route of 1-31.
Right.
And because but if you're a Falcons fan, which is our friend Bird still a Falcons fan, or you jump off that bandwagon? If you still are out there, Bird, hang on there, man. Hang in there, buddy. It's gonna be rough. Like, I know we said that with the Panthers last season, but really, it's gonna be might be a rough year or two, because it's really like there's less young hope than beforehand. Because I think Mike Davis will be solid. I don't think he's gonna be amazing. I think he's gonna be a solid back until y'all find your back, maybe for just this year. So, anyways, anything else you want to add Falcon wise, or I think we both expect them to be bottom of the barrel, right?
Yeah. Maybe like barring injury for some other teams, if the Saints, QB situation both somehow got hurt, or Sam Darnold goes down, or I don't know, some sort of thing like that, then maybe the Falcons aren't last, because I still think they have talent. When you have a veteran quarterback like Ryan, and he has some weapons and all that kind of stuff, like, they could win games, but I don't expect them to make playoffs. To me, at least as of right now, their peak would probably be like 6 wins.
6 wins, yeah. Last point, I liked Raheem Morris. Like, I liked what he was doing defensively. He was doing some good things. So I think, not that I don't think Arthur Smith is a good OC, but the fact I think they should have given him more of a chance to be the man, and maybe bring over Arthur Smith as like just an offensive coordinator or someone else, because he was doing creative things on defense with a defense that wasn't too talented. Because remember, they rattled off a couple wins at the end last year that they should not have won. I think they beat the Saints. I think they beat the Saints. They beat a good team. I forget.
Didn't they beat the Chiefs?
They beat.
Or they almost beat the Chiefs.
I think they almost beat the Chiefs. That was a close game. Yeah, see, they almost beat the Chiefs. And I think obviously it's the NFL. As much as we're going to crap on this team, it's still a solid NFL team, and they're going to, like you mentioned, they're going to get a couple of wins. It's just the way the NFL is. Right. So, all right. So I think we'll wrap it there for this one. So that was the NFC South.